The bronze statue features Stewart pointing with his right hand, index finger extended, probably in the direction of an official, Stewart later joked. Stewart, who helped uncover the statue with his wife, Virginia, was touched by the moment. "I've been out of coaching 19 years and people might not know who that is," he said, "but I hope people bring their children, I hope they bring their grandchildren, I hope they bring their friends and they come by. And the players that were there, the student assistants and doctors and trainers all bring their friends and point to that statue and say, 'I helped put that there.' Because they did. They're the ones who put it there. And I'm so proud that it's me." The statue was sculpted by St. Louis's Harry Weber, whose work includes the statue of Don Foro outside Mizzou Memorial Stadium and the Plaza of Champions collection of bronze statues of Cardinals players outside Busch Stadium. Construction of the statue cost approximately $190,000, raised by private funds. Stewart, a Mizzou alum who played basketball and baseball for the Tigers in the 1950s, coached his alma mater to a 634-333 record from 1967 to 99. His teams captured 8 regular season conference championships and 6 conference tournament championships and reached the NCAA tournament 16 times. Dozens of former Tigers who played for Stewart during his 32-year run were on hand Friday, including 7 of the 9 All-Americans he coached: John Brown, Willie Smith, Steve Stepanovich, John Sundvold, Derek Chivas, Doug Smith and Melvin Booker. Doug Smith, the 2-time Big 8 Player of the Year, was among the day's guest speakers and choked back tears while talking about his former coach. "He taught us things father figures do," said Smith, 48, the program's number 2 career scorer and rebounder. "Not knowing my father growing up, Stewart was a tremendous person in my life and I owe everything to him today. His tenacity, his grit, his determination and all those things he had within himself he put in us. That's what made it easy for us to go on the floor and play. We owe everything to you. When I travel across the country," Smith added, "and since I'm a big guy people say, 'Did you play college basketball?' I say, 'Yeah, I played a little bit.' 'Where did you play?' 'University of Missouri.' Enough said. You played for Norm. No matter where you go, Norm Stewart is Missouri basketball. It's synonymous. There's only one name. You don't know it at the time when you're 17, 18 years old, but when you get up there in age a little bit you realize, Coach, you made it all worth it coming here." Other speakers included former Georgia Tech coach Bobby Cremins, speaking on behalf of Coaches vs. Cancer, the charity organization Stewart helped create in the 1990s, Mizzou Athletics Director Jim Sturck, and Chancellor Alex Cartwright. Cardinals radio broadcaster and former Mu radio voice John Rooney hosted the event. During his speech, Cremins passed along a message from former Oklahoma coach and Stewart foil Billy Tubbs. "He wanted me to say, 'Sit down, Norm.'" Sturck noted that Stewart, 82, has spent a lot of time around the Mizzou offices the last few weeks. "It's like having a modern-day Mark Twain hanging around and telling stories," Sturck said. "I know all of you enjoy them as well." After the unveiling, Stewart held court with reporters inside Mizzou Arena, regaling stories of Don Foro, Dan Devine and others from Mizzou's storied past. Asked about Friday night's game against Iowa State, Stewart even broke out his impression of former Cyclones coach Johnny Orr. "Damn, boy," he said in high squeaky voice to mimic his old coaching rival. Asked whom he thinks the statue of his likeness is pointing toward, Stewart said, "If I think of an official I immediately think of Boomer, who just passed away. Jim Bain, a great official. We lost him last week. Or Johnny Overby, who we lost last year." Then he came back with a patented Stewart punchline, "Those officials, they're tremendous after you're through coaching." As for his role with the current Mizzou program, Stewart said, "As a former coach you try to stay out unless you're asked. If somebody asks you to do something you try to help. I've tried to do that with all of them who have been here, and then stay removed. An old coach can impart some things to certain people. You want to be very careful. Stewart has had a few conversations with new Tigers coach Cuonzo Martin, who played and coached at Purdue under Gene Keady. He's got to be a little jilted that he was with Keady for 8 years, Stewart joked. Something's got to be up there rattling around. But he's passed a lot of tests already. He came to our Coaches vs. Cancer dinner in Kansas City. We had 550 people. He and Kansas coach Bill Self and Bruce Weber from K-State, and usually Greg Marshall comes from Wichita State and the UMKC coach. I told Cuonzo that I know a lot of Missouri people spent time talking to him, and their impression was extremely good. But, I said, I'm going to tell you something, you passed a bigger test than that. My wife and daughter spent some time with you, and their BULL meter runs pretty good after all these years.